Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and today I thought I'd do a quick show of the Supergirl series from 1972. There were only 10 issues in the series. I just thought I'd do a quick little thing to show you what the covers look like and do a quick synopsis synopsis of what the stories were like. This here is Supergirl number one. This was the first comic ever titled Supergirl that was issued. Wasn't her first it wasn't her first appearance. It wasn't her first solo appearance in a book because that was Adventure Comics 381. But it was the first time a Supergirl title um, happened. So this was Supergirl number one. This was a story because what had happened is she decided no longer to be a TV person like she was in the Adventure Comics, and she went back to school to learn drama. And in this one, she's back in school and she has roommates, and one of her roommates by the name of Wanda Five is what is the star of the story, and they set her up to be this big mystery, but we never see her again. This is issue two, Supergirl. In this one, there's a gentleman who somehow ends up in Kandor, and he can't get out properly. It's been a while since I've read this one. But of course, it endangers everybody. Supergirl, by now, you probably know her parents survived the Argo City destruction and are living in Kandor with about a million other Kryptonians. And with the bottle potentially broken there, they could end up making Kandor, destroying Kandor. Although, all the small people would get superpowers outside of the jar or the bottle, but, they don't take that into consideration. Ah, this is Supergirl number three. In this book, Supergirl is dating a guy in her Linda identity that she keeps having to break dates with because she has to keep going off and being Supergirl. So she ends up setting up a bunch of other people on dates eventually in the thing, and that's why the cover says, "What's the good if being a Supergirl to helping everyone if I can't even get a date?" She ends up, alone at the big dance because she ends up having to break up with her boyfriend who goes for another girl because of course she's available more. This is Supergirl number four. In it, Supergirl becomes half robot, and due to some sort of scientific accident, and during this period, she becomes a little super smart on one side, and but unfortunately, it forces her to do things she doesn't want to. Anyway, this is a good book, an interesting one. It's probably one of the harder ones to get from this series because number four doesn't really have any key significance, so people don't tend to put it aside, which is odd because the Zatanna story in it is really good. Number five, Supergirl apparently was part of a rebel cell on an alien planet, and she ends up betraying them to the rightful power at one point, and they all get captured and stuff. Of course, things always work out in the end, and there's an interesting surprise to the story that'll make you go, "Oh wow," and so on. Anyway, this is Supergirl number five. Supergirl number six. This one I got one with a date stamp on it, and I do like date stamps. Not on an issue with a dating, okay? Supergirl number six. Basically, Supergirl gets involved with a bad guy. Even the superheroines are not immune from going for the bad guy once in a while. And basically, this guy, of course, ends up being the guy she's trying to get in the end. And of course, so this typical story of the superheroes betrayed by the one she's dating. So if you're into that sort of bad romance, this is a book for you. Supergirl 6. This is a good one. And I know a guy out there who really likes transformation covers. Here we've got a guy who both Zatanna and Supergirl are interested in, and he has turned into an abominable snowman. But they still fight over him on the cover because what they want to do is turn him back human together. They team up to try and turn him back into human so that they can just see who he decides he wants to date. Very this one is actually book length. Previously, before this, they were the book was split. Half a Supergirl story, half a Zatanna story is the backup. But in this one, they act together, and it's actually not a bad little tale. I mean, the way that the guy meets both Zatanna and Supergirl separately are interesting little parts of the story. Again, so it's something that I recommend people try to read. This is a cool cover. This is Supergirl 8, and Supergirl is transferred due to red kryptonite into a Medusa type character, which we've seen before in Superman 205 when Jack Sur gets transferred by red kryptonite he keeps changing into various reptilian forms. And one of those forms is a Medusa, but in this case, she's actual Medusa. And as you can see, she's actually turning the Justice League into stone, because as you can see, Hal Jordan is 3/4 stone here, and Batman is complaining about being turned into stone, and his legs are starting to, although it's really hard to tell because he wears a gray outfit anyways, but his legs are turning to stone. Again, interesting book. Give it a good read. Supergirl 9. Supergirl decides she's had it with men, and off she goes to the Amazon island. This is the first time in about 3 or 4 different storylines over the years where Supergirl decides to go live in Paradise Island / Themyscira, because she's had it with men and or just wants to be with women. So when she's there, of course, the island gets attacked by these sea creatures, and she's got to help out. But bluntly, again, not a bad story considering. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. This, Supergirl 10, to me, this is the worst story. Apart from the fact that about half the run is missing the black ink in about half the book because of a press malfunction, this is Supergirl has to protect the character Prez, who I don't know where he would fit in continuity, because America, for Prez to be president, they changed the Constitution so that 18-year-olds could be president, and sure enough, he becomes president. I don't know what world that is, but there's a Supergirl there, and she's got to protect him from being assassinated. I would say, personally, this is not my favorite of the run. Actually, I probably like this one the least. Partially because I had to go through 4 issues before I finally found one here that was actually able to read. I was able to read. As I said, be careful if you buy this one, because as I said, about 40% of the run seems to be missing black ink. But you know what? If you're a completionist, you're going to have it. This also came out almost a full year after the last one. Basically, what happened was the Supergirl wasn't selling after about issue 6, so they decided to cancel it. But it hadn't officially been canceled. Then the decision was made to combine Supergirl, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen into Superman family. So just to keep to fill the void before Superman family came out, they had this Supergirl story sitting around, so they printed it just to fill the hole, so to speak. Anyway, this is as I said, this is the Bronze Age Supergirl. This is from the first issue was November 72, and the last issue was October 74. And as I said, it's a pretty good series. Definitely worth a read. I would say, pardon me. I would say that 8 out of 10 are worth reading, for sure. This particular one and number 10. Now, so number 4 and number 10 are not the greatest. And I would say number 1 and number 7 and number 8 are the ones you really have to get. This is 7. This is 8. 9, and 10. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment below. What do you think? If you've got the books, if you like the books, give me a comment, give me a shout out, whatever. Speaking of which, I've got a couple of shout outs I'd like to make today. I want to shout out to Alan the Comic Collector Geek for, being a good friend to the channel, helping out. And of course, Stephen Gettner, again, for being a friend of the channel. But who I really want to shout out today is I want to shout out Nate at Hollyad Comics and Hagen at Lettuce Comics, because those two are working very hard on their channels. They have a knowledge of certain things that I do not, especially on the Marvel side, and I respect them for it. And especially whenever I see Lettuce Comics, makes me want to read Captain America. But what I like about Hollyad Comics is he likes a lot of the same stuff I do, and you know what? Both of them are really good. They're really entertaining, and you should give them a look when you see them. Because they're pretty good. Them and their friend Jacob at Boneclaw Comics, who I also like very much. The three of them do a roundtable discussion about once a week. So then it's usually live. So if you want to catch that, keep an eye out. It's usually on Hollyad Comics. Anyway, my name's Matt, and I really like comics. And I hope you do too.